Let's be brutally honest. You are no longer trapped in illusion. Your phase of deceiving yourself, of not knowing what is wrong or of blaming others, is over. You have evolved beyond that. And now, you find yourself in an infinitely more frustrating place. You are trapped in the fear of living what you already know you deserve. You are the master of diagnosis. You know exactly which door you need to close, which bridge you need to burn, which first step you need to take. You have the map, the compass, and the key in your hands. And yet, you remain there, standing on the inside, looking at the open door of your cage, paralyzed, not out of ignorance, but out of a lucidity that has itself become a form of prison. It is the paradox of one who knows everything they need to do, but simply doesn't do it. If this paralysis resonates in the depths of your soul, know that it has a precise cosmic signature. At this very moment, the moon is on a critical and symbolic journey. It is emerging from the investigative and shadowy depths of Scorpio and preparing to enter the open and expansive fields of Sagittarius. Think of what this means. The collective energy is shifting from "I know the hidden truth," Scorpio, to "I seek freedom and expansion," Sagittarius. And you are right there, on the border between these two worlds. On one side, the country you know perfectly, the territory of Scorpio, where you have already dissected your pain, understood your patterns, and become an expert in your own sabotage. On the other side, a new and unknown continent, the vast plains of Sagittarius, which promise adventure, growth, and the life you secretly dream of living. You have the passport in your hand, your clarity, your lucidity, but your feet seem glued to the floor of the border post. The problem is no longer a lack of knowledge. The problem is a lack of permission, the fear of crossing that border. This script is not meant to give you another map. You don't need another one. This script is meant to explore the anatomy of that paralyzing fear and to deliver you the decrees that will finally stamp your passport. The next few hours, while the moon makes this crossing, represent an energetic window to break this pattern. The border is open. The choice to remain a lucid prisoner or to become a courageous traveler is yours, and it is being made now. Let's dive deep into the territory you know so well, the anatomy of your own paralysis. This is not a diagnosis to find a flaw, but to illuminate a mechanism with such blinding clarity that it can no longer operate in the shadows. The first symptom of this condition is the frustration of being an expert in your own dysfunction. You know with crystal clarity that a certain friendship drains your vital energy. You've had the breakup message to your partner saved in your phone's drafts for months, maybe years. You know exactly which course you need to take to begin the career transition your soul is begging for. There is no more fog, no more doubt. There is only the raw, naked truth and inaction. An inaction that screams, that echoes in the silence of the night, mocking your own wisdom. Your mind has become a vast library of self-help and spirituality. You know the terms, you've read the books, you speak the language of healing fluently. Abandonment wound, anxious attachment, limiting belief, archetypal energy. You could give a lecture on the roots of your problems, tracing them from your childhood to the current astrological transits. And this is the true agony. The knowledge, which should be the key to free you, has become the material with which you have forged the bars of your own cell. You are the prisoner and the jailer, and both are experts on the reason why you are imprisoned. This mastery makes you, ironically, the best counselor for others. When a friend presents you with a problem, you dissect it with the precision of a surgeon. You see the pattern, the solution, the way out, and you guide them out of their own labyrinths with a calm and assertive wisdom. And then You go home and sit, motionless, in the center of your own. Now let's name the most subtle and powerful narcotic that fuels this paralysis: the addiction to potential. You need to understand this. You are probably no longer in love with the person or satisfied with the situation as it is today. You are addicted to the future, idealized version of it, which exists only in your mind. Think about it. In your relationship, you don't love the partner who consistently shows disregard or unavailability. You love the potential of who they could be if they finally went to therapy, if they stopped drinking, if they suddenly understood your worth. You live in a movie trailer that will never premiere, feeding on crumbs of hope. In your career, you don't love your stagnant and soulless job. You are trapped by the potential of what it could become. If I just hold on for another year, maybe I'll get that promotion. Swing, if that boss leaves, everything will get better. You feed on the promise of tomorrow to endure the hunger of today. Potential is safe. It is perfect. It is malleable and completely controllable within your imagination. Reality, on the other hand, is messy, unpredictable, and requires you to take risks, to take a stand, to perhaps suffer a real loss. Staying in the almost, in the potential, is an ingenious way to avoid failure, but it is also the most effective way to ensure you never experience success. To maintain this paralysis, we create extremely sophisticated excuses, the excuses of a conscious adult. The first is the timing isn't right. We convince ourselves that we are waiting for a perfect cosmic alignment, a divine sign to act. But most of the time, this is just our fear disguised as spiritual wisdom to justify inaction. The second is, I need to understand more, the trap of endless analysis. You believe you need one more book, one more therapy session, one more revealing insight before you can act. But the truth is, you already know enough. The search for more knowledge has become the very form of sabotage. And the noblest of all, I don't want to hurt the other person. A shield of compassion that often masks our panic of facing conflict, loneliness, and the responsibility for our own happiness. All of these reasons, no matter how logical and well-intentioned they may seem, are just the guards patrolling the border of your comfort zone. They are the final proof that your prison is not made of walls of ignorance, but of spiderwebs of an intelligence used against itself. To understand why you remain paralyzed at the border, we must first analyze the terrain on both sides. We need to comprehend why a part of you refuses to abandon a land of pain, and why the other part is so afraid of a land of freedom. This is the anatomy of your impasse. First, let's look at the territory you know so well, the kingdom of Scorpio, the land of your painful lucidity. Why secretly does a part of you love this place? Because here, in your known pain, you are sovereign. You are the expert. You know every dark street of your sadness, every dead end of your triggers, every monster that inhabits your shadows. Nothing here can truly surprise you. Disappointment doesn't shake you because you were already expecting it. Betrayal doesn't destroy you because you secretly already had your doubts. This predictability, even if negative, gives you a distorted sense of control. More than that, you have built a powerful identity around this lucidity. You are the survivor, the deep soul, the one who understands the shadows. There is a dark nobility in this, a subtle pride in being able to endure what others could not. Your friends seek you out for your wise advice, born from your own battles. There is a payoff in being the wounded healer. You receive attention, sympathy, and the right to be right about how difficult things are in the world. Your scorpion cage may be dark, but it is familiar. The bars are made of your knowledge and your history, and you hold them with a certain pride. You have become the king or queen of a land of shadows. And to abdicate that throne, even for a kingdom of light, means the death of a part of you that has become fundamental to who you believe you are. To leave this place means admitting that perhaps you no longer need to be so strong, and that, for one who has grown accustomed to war, is terrifying. Now breathe deeply and look to the other side of the border, the vast, open, and sunny plains of Sagittarius, the land of freedom, of expansion, and of the happiness you say you deserve. Why does it terrify you so much, to the point of preferring your familiar dungeon? The first reason is the weight of responsibility. In your kingdom of pain, nothing is truly your fault. You are a victim of circumstances, of your traumas, of others' mistakes. There is a comfort in the absence of responsibility. But in the land of freedom, your happiness is yours to create, and therefore yours to sustain. If you cross the border and achieve the life you desire, and yet you still don't feel happy, whose fault will it be? The responsibility to be happy is, for many, a heavier burden than the certainty of unhappiness. The second reason is the vertigo of the unknown. You are an expert in how to handle disappointment. You have countless strategies to overcome a broken heart or a failure. But do you have any practice in how to sustain joy? In how to navigate a relationship that is going well? In how to manage success and peace of mind? The shocking truth is that joy and success are completely unknown territories for someone who is used to living in survival mode. The possibility of a happiness you don't know how to maintain is more dizzying than the familiarity of your pain. And this leads us to the deepest fear of all, the fear of loss. When you have little to lose. Your current pain, as much as it hurts, is already yours. It cannot be taken from you. But if you cross the border, if you allow yourself to build a new life, to have a reciprocal love, a purposeful job, you will have something real, beautiful, and precious. And the possibility of losing that is 1,000 times more terrifying than the certainty of continuing with what you already consider lost. Do you understand the depth of your impasse now? Your fear is not that things will continue to go wrong. Your deepest and most secret fear is that things will finally go right, and you won't know what to do with the light, how to be worthy of it, or how to survive if one day it goes out. It is at this exact point, on this sacred border between the comfortable darkness of Scorpio and the dizzying light of Sagittarius, that the moon is transiting. It is illuminating this impasse with a clarity that is impossible to ignore. This is the point where most people give up. They come this far. Look at the vastness of freedom, feel the vertigo, and retreat to the familiar safety of their cell. They will spend the rest of their lives being proud of how well they understand their own chains, without ever having wondered what it would be like to fly. They will become intellectuals of their own prison. But this astrological moment is a cosmic push. It is a wind of change blowing at your back in the direction of freedom. The universe is telling you, through this tension, that the comfort of your lucidity has become more dangerous than the risk of your happiness. The choice to retreat once more, or to take the first trembling step to the other side, is what will define not just your month, but the next great chapter of your life. We have arrived at the point of action. The border has been analyzed. The fear has been dissected into its deepest parts. Now, it is the moment to act. But the action required to cross such an ancient and well-guarded energetic border is not a great heroic leap in the dark. That would only feed the panic. The action is more subtle, more internal, more powerful. It occurs through 3 silent decrees, 3 acts of sovereign permission that you grant yourself. They are the keys that, when turned, unlock the door from the inside. The first decree: farewell to the familiar pain. You cannot embrace a new future while your arms are still clinging to your past. Before you can cross the border, you need to consciously say goodbye to the land you are leaving behind. This means recognizing and releasing the hidden benefits that your pain has provided you. Yes, your pain gave you benefits. It gave you an identity, an excuse, a way to feel safe in the predictability of suffering. To decree this farewell, I ask that you find a moment of stillness. Place a hand over your heart, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. And then, out loud or in the silence of your soul, say the following words, feeling the weight and truth of each one. To my pain, my old companion. To my lucidity, my faithful armor. I see you. I honor you. Thank you for protecting me when I believed I needed protection. Thank you for keeping me safe in what was familiar, even if it was painful. Thank you for the identity you gave me, the identity of the survivor, of the one who understands everything. I honor your service in my life. And now, with love, respect, and immense gratitude, I release you. Your work is complete. I no longer need you to define me. I no longer need the nobility of pain to feel worthy. I choose a new definition. I choose peace instead of the wisdom of suffering. I choose vulnerability instead of the strength of survival. You are free. I am free. Breathe deeply. Feel the space that opens up. This act does not erase your history. It consecrates it. It's like thanking an old guard for his years of loyal service before dismissing him with honor. By doing this, you are consciously cutting the energetic tie to the wise sufferer identity, creating a vacuum that can now, for the first time, be filled by something new and unknown. The second decree, the minimum viable step. Paralysis feeds on the grandiosity of the task. The mind looks at the mountain of change, quitting the job, ending the marriage, moving to another country, and freezes, overwhelmed. The antidote to grand paralysis is the ridiculously small action. The goal of this decree is to prove to your nervous system, which is on high alert, that movement is possible and safe. Think now of the big change you know you need to make. Feel the panic, the vertigo, the overwhelm. Allow yourself to feel it for an instant. Now, with the same intensity, forget it. I want you to ask yourself, with an almost childlike curiosity, what is the smallest, most pathetic, most insignificant step I can take in the direction of that change? Not tomorrow, not next week, but in the next 10 minutes. The action needs to be so small that your fear doesn't even recognize it as a threat. It is not quitting your job. It is opening Google and searching gardening courses. It is not ending the decade-long relationship. It is opening a notepad and writing a single sentence about how you feel. It is not starting to go to the gym every day. It is finding your running shoes and placing them by the door. Do you understand? The act itself is almost irrelevant. The importance lies in breaking the inertia. Each of these micro-movements sends a new message to your subconscious, a message it hasn't heard in a long time. Attention! We are no longer stationary. We are in transit. Movement, however small, generates more movement. It is the first crack in the dam. This small step is your first foot touching the soil of the new continent. It is the physical act that tells the universe that your intention now has a body. The third decree, the permission for imperfection. Here is the last guard at the border, the most sophisticated of all, perfectionism. We fear crossing into the new life because we are afraid it will not be as perfect as the fantasy we have created in our minds. What if the new job also has problems? What if the new relationship also has challenges? What if freedom is not as glorious as we imagined? This fear of imperfect reality keeps us trapped in the fantasy of perfect potential. This final decree is your act of radical acceptance. It is your permission to be human in your new life. Breathe deeply once more. Feel the pressure you put on yourself for everything to be perfect. And then release it. Declare to the universe, and more importantly, to yourself, I give myself full and complete permission for my new life to be imperfect. I give myself permission to try and fail. I give myself permission to feel clumsy, like a beginner, and confused in the territory of joy. I release now the need for my freedom to be graceful, poetic, and perfect. I choose with all my heart the stimulating mess of real life over the sterile order of my imagination. My success will not be measured by the absence of mistakes, but by the courage to have made them. This decree removes the unbearable pressure of success. It gives you the most precious gift there is, the freedom to be real. It is the final act of power that dissolves the mirage of perfect potential and anchors you in the beauty of imperfect reality, which is and always will be the only place where true life can happen. And so, with these decrees, the passport is stamped. There are no fanfares, no fireworks. There is only a deep stillness and a sense of space. The air on the other side of the border is different. Lighter, perhaps a little more frightening, because the walls of your prison are no longer there to protect you from the wind of change. This is not the end of the journey, but the true and authentic beginning. There will be days of doubt. There will be moments when the memory of your familiar pain will call you back, whispering that the safety of the cage was easier. But now the difference is that you have the keys. You know the way back to yourself. You have learned that freedom is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to act in spite of it. The first trembling step into the new territory is the most important of all, and you have just taken it. You have traded the certainty of your lucidity for the possibility of your life. If this journey from the inside out has resonated with you, if you are ready to honor your own permission, anchor this decision now. Like this video, share it with another lucid soul you know is paralyzed at the border, and leave your final decree in the comments. Affirm your choice to the universe and to yourself. I allow myself to live. And don't forget to subscribe so we can continue to explore these territories of the soul together.